Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. I, of course, am your host, Charlie. I'm joined once again by the prolific commenter himself, and he's back instead of just a poster. Zealeus!
What's up? I think I'm just going to sit like this the whole
It says,
time.
hold on for awesomeness.
Can I just sit like this
No.
and just speak?
No.
All
right, anyways, getting into...
I might have to do that again next Thursday.
No. I'll have to change up the picture. All right, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, as is now the tradition, I need to...
Live the geek stereotype.
Yeah. The stereotype.
Not one, but two
different Mountain Dews.
Different Mountain Dews. They can't be the same. Oh, no.
We need like some kind of like angelic music to go with this.
You had it going with the Proto Man.
That's not angelic. It's rock your face off music.
Which to some of us is angelic.
Okay.
Well, actually, let me speak. Hold on. Let me see if we can get going here.
No. It's okay. It's okay. The moment has passed. All right. So
Next week, I'll have to remember this.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us talk about some of the crazy stuff that's going on in games right now. Do we want to talk about the lawsuit, or do we want to talk about the rumor first?
Let's go with the lawsuit first.
Okay, the lawsuit. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as many of you might know, I am a Kickstarter-aholic. I am not. Not to be confused with Kickstart, but a Kickstarter-aholic.
Well, you are kind of a Kickstarter-aholic in that regard, too.
That too. So there, of course, you know, there's always the chance. There's always the problem that, or issue that a successful Kickstarter project might go completely south.
This is true.
Now, of course, one of the great examples of a Kickstarter game going south, Kickstarter project going south, of course, is Double Fine Adventures. Now, of course, they were able to kind of keep it together, and ta-da, Broken Age Part 1 and Part 2, it's there.
You can play it. It's amazing.
Now, the unfortunate thing is there are a couple of games. Now, of course, in any case, when bad news happens, it completely trumps any of the success stuff. You look at sports, you look at business.
You look at CNN.com or
CNN,
Fox.com
right,
or any of
anything.
those.
It's not congratulations on the awesomeness of this company for continuing to do cool things. It is look at the corruption here or there. And a game called The Doom Comes to Atlantic City.
Looked like a Monopoly game.
It looked kind of Monopoly-ish.
With funky graphics. And figurines.
Okay, the figurines. So here's the deal.
That was the cool thing.
The cool thing was if you pledged at least $75, you're going to get pewter versions of all the figurines.
That's a big pledge, man.
I know, it's a huge pledge. And like, I think it was like 1,200 people pledged for this game.
That's
so
a whole lot of pledges.
112 or $120,000.
Not too shabby.
Okay? The issue is that they ran out of money. They missed their release date by 2 years. And then all of a sudden, the guy who was running the campaign goes, oh, we're canceling it. We're so sorry. We'll find some way possible to refund you.
And how did that refund go?
So the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, actually got involved and won the action suit, which is the first of its kind. Never before have they done a crowdfunding action suit. And this was the first example, and they basically said you have to pay them everything.
Not exactly.
Well, okay, so that was the original verdict. Now, of course, stuff happened after that original verdict, which Zealeus will fill us in.
And the settlement came down to basically is they lifted that. It came up to like $111,000 and some change because basically he doesn't have money. Is what they found. Now, of course, they said, well, because I guess his finances said you don't have money, but if $100,000 randomly shows up in some kind of Cayman bank account, then he has to pony up the money. But as it speaks, he's not going to pay it back because, well, he can't actually pay back the money because he doesn't have anything. And it seems like the big issue with this, because you know me, I'm kind of skeptical when it comes to Kickstarter, but it seems like most of the failed Kickstarters, it's because they basically had crappy financial management, or they overshot their goals, or they just had an epic disaster of some sort. Right. It's not because they were intentionally duping the backers. And I was pretty skeptical when I saw this at first. I was like, really? Like, who's the FTC going to go after next? because their Kickstarter wasn't successful. When you actually start reading to it, it's really because basically this guy went and spent the money not on producing a game or figurines. It's because he ended up spending the money in rent and moving cost and other stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with the production of the game.
Yeah.
So in my mind, if he spent $120,000 going towards the game and nothing came of it, that's one thing.
Yeah.
You know, it still sucks to lose money, but at least it wasn't fraudulent. And now the issue with this is the FTC is like, dude, you're fraudulent. You are deceptive in your practice, and that's the job of the FTC is to find people who are fraudulent in their claims. And they found him fraudulent because guess what? He was. He just never made a game because he spent the money on other stuff.
Well, okay, so here's the deal. There were designers on there who wanted to actually make the game, but the problem was this guy apparently was like the face and the I guess the guy who got stuff done. And unfortunately, he paid for himself to move to Oregon with the money and rent and personal equipment, and I mean, come on. So there is a happy, I guess there's a happy ending at the end of the rainbow, and that is that there's a very well-known board game company, which of course eludes me as soon as I say it.
Hasbro?
No. It's Cryptonotic or something like that. They've made a lot of board games. They actually created a limited run of this game so that the backers could actually get the game if they wanted it.
But the whole reason most people like $75 is just one of those damn pewter figures.
Yeah, they wanted the upgrade to the pewter figures. So here's the moral to the story. Yes, this happens, even with successful Kickstarter projects. Hopefully, the individuals will be able to at least give you something. Hopefully they do not give you, or if they can't do it at all, they give you your money back. Case in point is a game of books, which was going to be this cool kind of like RPG game where you level up by the books that you read, which sounded really freaking cool, and it successfully got kickstarted. But then when they found the exact scope of what they were attempting to do, basically the entire library of every single book known to man, they're like, yeah, we're not going to be able to do that. So they refunded everyone their full pledge.
Yeah, and that's my understanding is Kickstarter over the years they've also changed their TOS, terms of service, to basically say like, hey, if you don't actually come out with the product, you have to refund the refund.
Right. That's
what it comes down to.
Right. Absolutely. And so. So, if you see a cool Kickstarter project, we're not saying do not kickstart it, but do your homework.
As in most things in life.
We've said this a couple times during the panels that we give at conventions. Mainly, so you finish making your indie game, you think you're done. A lot of people ask about Kickstarter, and our reply is, if you're going to kickstart a project, make sure that you understand the entire financial ramifications of any and every choice you're going to make. Yes, it's impossible to figure out every single one, but you want to get as close as possible. Number two.
You need a real business plan. Well, that was part of number one.
That's number two. Kickstarter is not about making money. It's about making the product so that you can
make money.
Then make the money.
Yeah.
Oh, for the love of God.
It's supposed to pay for the production of your original run, basically,
yes.
And the production of it.
Yes.
So
it's supposed to help you get it out there. It's supposed to kickstart your ability to then make money. It's not to make money.
And that's one of the reasons I've always found. I understand, like, first-time run people doing Kickstarter campaigns. I get that. But I've always found a little bit off-putting when established, profitable companies do Kickstarting. Mm-hmm. Because to me, that's the way I look at Kickstarter. It's for products that don't have an established income.
Right.
They don't have an income source. They need a Kickstarter. Okay, to me, I get that. I can understand that. I can get behind it. But when you have an established company who has products that are making money and they want to Kickstart, to me, that's where I'm like, if I actually Kickstarted, which I don't, I would definitely not kickstart those companies, because that's where I'm like, wait, you already have revenue streams. And to me, that's the purpose of Kickstarters. Companies or people don't have revenue streams. It's a way to start. It's almost like these companies who already have like products, it's almost like they're using it as a litmus test. Like, oh, let's find a Kickstarter and we'll see we'll gauge people's responses to it.
Right. And in all honesty, that's exactly what they're doing. Another reason why...
Which to me is BS.
Well, I know, but the fact of the matter is, and okay, now we're going to go into destruction of the game industry as we do. Here we go. We're going to do both the panels right now, right here. Let's do this. A little bit more.
Amen to that.
All right. So here's the deal. The reason why you're seeing bigger name companies doing these Kickstarter projects is... yes, it is a test. This to kind of like test the water, see, hey, is this cool game idea really as cool as we think it's going to be? But no. But at the same time, you also have to take into consideration, and this is also happening with movies, with sequels. Unfortunately, the vast majority of video games, especially from AAA titles, are based off of your Metacritic score. So if you got a game that's anything like a game that was kind of in Metacritic-wise, even though it could be like a smash success, but Metacritic gave it an 80, which is below what's required.
It's terrible.
85 is what's required to get you like a 90% chance of getting a sequel. If it's an 84 or below, there's like a 30%. That's unfortunately how it goes. And Metacritic is broken to shit, but we're not going to go into that because it always gets me mad.
We can listen to any of our other podcasts here.
So here's the deal. So yes, part of it is they're gauging the interest in this game. Absolutely. The developers of known developers, they do, they've got name recognition. They do definitely have revenue streams, but there's also that chance that the idea gets no support from their revenue stream, and therefore they put it on Kickstarter. Now you would think that given that they are an established company, they would actually understand the amount of money required to make the game that they're trying to pitch to Kickstarter. Unfortunately, they are some of the worst because of the stretch goals.
Well, to me, the way I look at it, because you're an established company with the income source, it's almost like they're throwing a Kickstarter. It's almost like we're not going to get into Madden, but it's almost like you're Madden theory. You throw darts at a board. It's like, hey, let's throw darts at a board with a game idea and see if it sticks, and let's throw it in a Kickstarter. If you actually stand behind your product, it's going to be successful. By God, just make the damn product if you have the revenue streams. And to me, it devalues what the smaller indie people without a revenue stream are trying to do.
Well, okay. Well, yeah. Okay. But that opens a whole new can of worms.
You have companies who legitimately need Kickstarter to actually make their product.
And you've got
companies who don't need Kickstarter, and they're leveraging it anyways.
And then you've got those vast majority of individuals who are both on Kickstarter and on Greenlight and on Indiegogo,
which is fine,
who are trying to make shovelware.
Well,
to muddy the water, and of course, then give a bad rep to everyone there. It's the unfortunate.
But that's also at that point, though. That's when the market speaks, hopefully, and hopefully
you would think. But look at the Wii. Look at the launch of the Wii.
But look how successful the Wii became. I mean, remember for months there, you couldn't buy a Wii
in retirement homes.
Hey, it sold though, didn't it?
Right, but not to the right demographic, which is kind of funny. It's the exact same thing with my car. I've got a Honda Element, okay? It was marketed to college students, and only soccer moms picked it up, so they discontinued it.
Damn those soccer moms!
So anyway,
stealing my car.
Yeah, so Kickstarter. Look, if you out the audience ever have a Kickstarter project and you would like a little bit of advice, always hit us up on alteredconfusion.com. You can hit us up on Facebook, on Twitter. You can leave a comment on the YouTube page.
This man lives, breathes, and drinks Kickstarter.
I live, eat, breathe, sleep, and other words I cannot use on whatever. I want to help people. That's what I do. I help people, especially indie developers. That's what I do.
Help me, help you.
Speaking of which, do you want the Galactic Inheritors game?
Yes and no.
Okay. Great.
Yes, because I want to play it. No, because Heaven's Sword's coming out, and I got a lot. And I still need to finish Sproggiwood. So to answer your question, yes, I want to play Galactic, whatever it's called.
Inheritors, yeah.
But I'm going to be perfectly honest. You know, I'm the world's worst reviewer. This is a game I won't be playing for a while, just because I already know I have a line of games.
Okay.
But at some points, yes, it's a game I will play.
All right. Okay, well, we got that one out. Okay, so seriously, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or criticisms for us, just hit us up on any of our channels.
Why not everything but Tumblr?
Yeah, we don't do Tumblr, and we don't do Flickr.
Flickr is...
Is it still there? I don't even know.
It's not. It's
and
not
we
cool
don't have a MySpace page.
I could get one. I could put some like band music on it.
God, no. Anyway,
okay. Some really loud techno in the background.
All right,
the page.
All right. Let's go into our next story. Our next story.
Dude, I want a MySpace page now.
Oh Lord, you can have mine. I
think I have one somewhere.
I think the only image on my MySpace page now is my tattoo.
You go to my MySpace and it just starts blaring. James Brown is dead.
No. Just read my live journal, okay?
I actually, ironically, I'll tell you a topic. I went to my live journal last night for the first time in probably 5 years. I was like, it's just all my bookmarks.
Oh God.
Yeah. There's nothing there. All my friends have left, so there's actually nothing like on my friends list.
Nice.
But,
okay. Okay.
Anyways.
Let's get back onto video games here, ladies and gentlemen. We at Alter Confusion, probably more me than anyone, have been a supporter of this wonderful small itty bitty little console that was a success on Kickstarter. So there's your little segue. Called the Ouya.
The Ouya.
O-U-Y-A. Yes, it's been out. It's out and it's basically almost dead. The reason is because of its terrible marketing.
How terrible?
Terrible. So there was a rumor that Ouya was going to work with a Chinese company, Chinese TV company, to basically add their platform, their software platform, onto their like smart TVs, so you could play the games on the TV. Rumor has it that was not actually going to fully happen. There was talks about it. Now there's a new talk. There's new rumor, and that of course is Razer. Razer, the company behind the crazy awesome keyboards and mice. Of course, I don't have any Razer gear, so I can't show it off.
I do.
Zealeus does.
I should have brought over my Naga.
Yeah, you could have shown
It's got 12 buttons on the thumb for MMOaholics like myself.
There you go. Anyways, there's rumors that Razer is now involved in trying to acquire Ouya. Now, of course, it is a rumor, and when asked about it, Razer says we do not comment on speculation, rumors or speculation, which to me is corporate speak for we're probably doing something with Ouya, at least testing the water. Just legal has told us we can't say shit until we have a definitive yes, we're doing something, or no, we're not.
At this point, it seems like, at least from a buyout standpoint, that the actual purchase price of the Ouya is probably bottomed out. I mean, you're not going to be able to buy a game console for much cheaper than what you're going to be able to buy Ouya for.
Right.
If you're Razer. The ironic thing is, okay, as far as consoles go, as far as the actual flashy power standpoint, the Ouya is here at the bottom. I mean, it's the bottom, which...
It's cell phone.
Yeah, it's a cell phone in a box, which is fine. I mean, it works. That's what it was going for, okay? Then you look at Razer and you look at their peripherals, because they're a peripheral company. Their headphones, their keyboard, their mice, they're like the top echelon. They make all the fancy, snazzy, crazy cool stuff.
Yeah.
So there's this kind of a funny dichotomy where it's like the uber expensive peripheral, like their peripherals cost like 10 times as much as the actual Ouya to purchase and play games on.
Yep.
But as far as a standpoint, it kind of makes sense. I could see that Ouya getting in, or not Ouya, Razer getting into this because they're already so immersed in the video game market, where that makes actually a lot of kind of synergy. That's the big corporate word.
Oh, Lord.
Synergy sense as far as, gaming world. Ouya. Let's mesh them together and see how it goes. But knowing Razer, they buy Ouya and they're going to come out with an $800 console next year.
See, here's Super Ouya.
See? And it's going to have lights in
Razer.
here. It's going to have lights. It's going to flash. And it's going to, like, walk like it's a spider.
Look, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I would love to see Ouya 2.0, and maybe it is Super Ouya.
But if it's based on, if it's based on a cell phone platform, how can you make a platform like the Ouya predicated on the fact you can play cell phone games super? What makes it super?
You can play it on your TV. Ta-da!
I can already put that into my TV. What the hell are you talking about? Woo! So it does nothing else super.
No, okay. So the thing is,
Besides flashing lights.
it is it's an Android platform. Okay, so that definitely lends itself to a lot of developers out there. The thing that I would love to see, I have no problem with this controller. Okay, I have no problem with it. The thing is, if you bring this controller, or excuse me, the entire system to a convention, it better be a small freaking convention, because this is like really, really old Bluetooth technology. So if anyone in like a 2-mile radius has Bluetooth on, your controller just starts going, I have no idea what's going on.
I can see that crosspad. Because you already have all the other companies like Gigabyte and Asus and all them doing their stuff. So maybe you do the Steamia.
Yeah, a rival to Steam. Now, okay, so here's my deal. I really, really don't understand the Steam box.
What's that complicated about it?
It's my computer.
It's
my computer.
That plugs into your TV like the Ouya.
So, but no. But the thing is, the Ouya it's always been this, like, you know,
box.
This box that has these games on it. The Steam box, I already have a Steam box. Basically, all I got to do is plug my current PC into my TV.
Okay, can I ask you a question about your computer?
Yes.
How many issues do you have with your computer on occasion?
Huh?
Do you ever have issues with your computer?
In
terms of gaming, graphic updates?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Ironically, the only issue I have with every single time I make a Frankenstein computer is when I have to turn it off. And when I turn it back on, it's a finger crossing moment, okay? Because it sometimes, my old Frankenstein computer would freeze every single time I went from a dead stop to a start, and I would have to reset. I would have to hit the reset button.
Nice.
And it would basically, I don't know, do something, and then ta-da, it works.
But you got to remember though, when you're talking to Steambox, they have a lot of manufacturers behind them. I mean, you have a lot.
I don't understand though. Okay, it's a PC. It's a PC. Why am I paying for $200 to $1,500?
But you gotta remember though,
I've already got a PC.
If you go to Best Buy and you buy a PC, guess what? That's not a gaming PC. That's a freaking word processor that you're buying. You're buying a Steambox. Guess what? It's actually going to probably have a dedicated graphics card.
See, I don't think that's a relevant argument, okay? Because you're not going to buy a Steambox at a Best Buy.
Exactly. So this is a route for people who don't know much about how to build PCs for the gaming world.
Their Steamboxes aren't going to be at Best Buy, though.
So
why are you trying to make the argument about Best Buy?
Exactly,
because they don't know how to make PCs.
Most people don't know how to buy PCs. And most PCs you buy, they're not going to be very good for gaming. Whereas, unless you build it yourself.
Look, let's be honest. If you're going to be gaming, you're going to know something about PCs.
Unless you're 14 years old and your mom's buying your PC for you, now you're like, hey, Mom, buy that Steambox for me.
Let's be honest. 14-year-olds right here, right now, know more about PCs than I ever will. So that's still an invalid argument. The only way I see it being viable is if they can give you the performance for a fraction of the current market cost. Yes, that, and also, in all seriousness, the one benefit to Steambox is that it is going to be running Steam OS, and that's it. None of the Microsoft bloatedness. So there might be a performance boost there. But at the same time, with all these manufacturers behind it, you're paying for that emblem on there 9 out of 10 times. Like the Alienware Steambox is going to be astronomically expensive.
You gave me a bad example of Best Buy. Alienware is a terrible example.
Alienware is making the Steambox.
Yes, but as far as being overpriced,
Alienware is overpriced.
Yes, it is, absolutely. But companies like Asus and Gigabyte are probably going to actually make reasonably priced devices.
But they're also going to be lower end.
True, but you can also...
But the thing is, my friend does know a lot about PCs, and he's 14. Ha ha! Told you! So,
I didn't disagree with that point. He told me I'm right. Congratulations.
No.
I don't know. Okay, think about it this way. Okay, the Steambox.
Yes.
I'm assuming... Actually, I don't know the answer to
or
this question.
Or you just buy a Super Ouya. Yeah, there it is.
Will the Steambox be able to do stuff like play Netflix and stuff like that?
Probably not. It would probably be a dedicated Steam. Unless Steam picks up Netflix, I think that that would be outside the realm.
I wonder that because from a gaming standpoint, would you rather have a, let's just hypothetically speaking here, going on here.
Okay.
Is I say I can do Netflix and that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather have a Steam box or an Xbox One or PS4?
If the Steam box can do as much as in terms of multimedia, minus the drive.
Yes, no drive.
No drive.
We know there's not going to be a drive.
That's a very good question.
Because what you can buy,
I would think that if I already have a Blu-ray player, that I would be more apt to picking up the Steam box over an Xbox One if the Xbox One, if the Steam box had the same, like, Hulu, Netflix, that type of thing.
Yeah, because that multimedia
cheaper.
Because the multimedia could be a big make or break for the Steam box.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you look at the Xbox and the PS4, what is their central theme now? Multimedia.
Right.
And then you got the Steam box, all of a sudden it's like, just gaming. So in that regard, yeah, that's it. Or it could be one of those things that's going to come eventually.
Look,
that's something
future promises is something that you cannot bank on anymore. It is, what can you give me today?
Yeah.
There's been too many trips at the starting line for games or devices that have basically spelled disaster. So yes. Personally, I think the way that Steam Box would be viable is if it had more how to install Netflix on Steam OS.
Let's see. I'm just looking. All right.
Through Google Chrome. So
okay, so apparently you can use Google Chrome.
You would have to use an extension?
Yeah. So it looks like, okay.
So it would be native.
You have to go to github.com in order to do it. So, ergo, it's not easy. So it looks like
there's a couple extra steps.
So it looks like there are ways to do it. But yeah.
All right, Jedi J 1025 asked the most important question because Zealeus knows that this will rile me up. What do you prefer, Xbox One or the PlayStation 4?
I prefer the iPhone.
Xbox One, I'll tell you why. Because I'm too scared that Sony will find a way to shoot themselves in the face, the foot, the cojones, the ass, or the consumer. They have burned me, personally, they've burned me several times. Either be with basically stealing my identity, the PlayStation 3 false start with the release, the PSP Go, the PS Vita and its promised features that have been basically pulled almost entirely back. And of course, the PlayStation 4, their dirty tactic of, well, we let Microsoft go first, and then we removed all the features that everyone booed at during the Xbox press conference. Sunset Overdrive and Forza Horizon 2, period. I have not played either of those games. Going to be totally honest with you. I do not get a lot of gaming in on my Xbox One. I have, though, started playing The Witcher 3.
Ooh, nice.
Which, yes, I know. The graphics are a little bit toned down because it's on the Xbox. Whatever.
Riot, because they lied!
But my one issue with Witcher 3 is the fact that, for some reason, the controls just do not feel right.
Really?
They do not feel right. I want to walk slowly, and he's like, ha, 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 ha. I'm like, there's an object right here. All I want to do is look at this object. And so I just push a little bit further, just a little bit forward, and he basically goes from here to here. And I'm like, son of a bitch! So I have to like turn around, and the turnaround is like, and then it shows A to select. And I hit A. And it doesn't do anything. So I hit A. And then I kind of like shuffle to the left and shuffle to the right and keep hitting A. And then finally it's like, ta-da! Look what you found.
Is there like a sensitivity option?
I'll have to look. I just literally, I don't have a lot of time when it comes to playing games for leisure. So I'm just like.
Who plays games for leisure, man?
I don't very much.
Jeez.
But anyways.
I'm a terrible person tonight.
But Sunset Overdrive, is that the one with the. This might be totally wrong. IGN is giving away free DLC for The Witcher 3.
I didn't think there's DLCs out for Witcher 3.
The developer of the game is giving away free DLC for the game. So
I think they said like their DLCs are basically free.
Because I have The Witcher 3 for Xbox One, I got 16 free DLC.
Wait, they gave away DLCs? What's up with that, man?
I know, it's this crazy concept called enhancing the game and being cool to the consumer. I know it's a crazy idea. They're not nickel and diming everyone. Holy shit!
Their bean counters must be having a shit.
Open world shooter zombie-like enemies. What like some kind of like toxic soda or something? I'm draining soda. Tony Hawk style moment. Yes. Then that's the one I was thinking about.
I have no interest in either console. I'm a PC gamer. I had the 360, but neither console really makes me warm and fuzzy to think about. So I'm just going to continue PC gaming.
Well, yeah, energy drink.
I
pop one.
There's absolutely zero incentive for me at this point to buy either consoles when it comes down to.
Unless you need a Blu-ray player.
Correct. And I think a large part of it's because there was a time when you wanted the consoles because they were equal to or outstripped what you can do on your PC counterparts. But that time since passed where the PCs, guess what? They greatly outperform the PC or the consoles.
Now, of course, the only caveat is that with PCs, you have a lot of unknown components when you're a developer.
Yes, this is true.
But the fact of the matter is, especially if you're indie, you're going to go PC route because you're not going to try to max it out. You're not going to try to make a Crysis. Let's just be honest. Because the original Crysis, I don't think there's still a computer.
There's not.
Okay.
No. Maybe the NASA supercomputer. That's it.
Martian technology.
And I'll admit that there are those like Uncharted and some of those titles that are unique to the PS4, Xbox. Right. I'm like, man, I wish I could play those, but it's also hard for me to justify.
Jeez.
Justify,
man. Justify.
This is my only beer tonight, man.
Oh God, we're dead.
Justify $400 for a console and then paying another, $50 or so to play that game. It's just hard to justify that for like a couple games.
Gonna be honest, there is not that single game, that one game that you're like, oh my God, I have to play, I have to get it. Now, that being said, I know I've brought this up several times. My dad, thanks to me, became a gamer because of the original Diablo.
I remember him breaking mice over that.
Yeah, my dad went through a lot of mice.
It's really hard to do. I mean,
Thankfully for...
How does he not have carpal tunnel from that?
He stopped playing PC games.
Oh, well, there you go.
He plays exclusively console now.
Right.
He is going to get the Xbox One when Halo 5 comes out.
Ah, there you go.
He's like, I'm waiting for Halo 5, and then I'm going to get it. So there's an example of, big name game. Let's get the console.
Is he going to get like the Halo 5 Xbox edition that's like chrome plated? And
probably. By the time that Halo comes out, it's going to be the terabyte drive will be fully established because that's the new Xbox One. They've released the terabyte version, and of course, if you're talking about Microsoft, you can't go without saying or talking about the fact that in the near future there's going to be a dongle that you can put on your computer that will allow you to play with your Xbox One wireless controller on your PC.
Sweet.
Indeed.
I'm going to continue using my shitty controller that doesn't really work very well with most PC games. Because it doesn't map correctly.
Yeah.
Well, that's easy for using third-party knockoff controller. Should have ponied up and paid the extra $10 for the actual Xbox controller.
Yeah, you should have.
But alas.
What did you spend that extra $10 on?
Probably beer or cat food.
Okay, beer. All right. Cat food.
She would have been fine without food for a night, man.
You could have poured a little bit of beer into the thing every time. In all seriousness, no batteries and instant mapping.
Yeah, that's why I wish I had. When I bought my controller, that's why I wish I had, in retrospect, bought the 360 controller. Because like you said, using my crappy third-party controller is a pain in the rear for most games to use.
Yeah.
Where if I had bought the 360 controller, it would just work.
Actually, I'm going to be totally honest with you. There's two different controllers out there. There's the Microsoft Xbox 360 wired controller, and then there's the Microsoft licensed 360 wired controller
Huh.
and the licensed 360 wired controller will not actually work the first time you plug it in. You actually have to manually do some driver stuff,
Huh.
and then it works like a charm.
Interesting.
I learned that the hard way thanks to that green controller that we had at MomoCon.
Which worked once you got it installed.
Right, once I got it installed, but you had to get it installed.
Indeed.
All right. Now, I do want to bring up this one story that could potentially be awesome or could totally fizzle. And that, of course, is Amazon
.com
is aggressively going after or requesting developers and other game designers positions to join their ranks to create a PC game.
Interesting.
So here's the deal though. They have an established. They've got the Kindle Fire.
Yes,
They've got that established platform, but they want the PC.
Well, they do have digital distribution through the
Right,
Amazon
yes,
platform.
They do.
People
They
don't
have-
people don't really look at it as a digital distribution platform,
No.
but it does exist.
Yes.
I've used it for actually like one game in my life. I don't remember what it is now, but I know I've used it before, so it's there. Days of Wonder, the train game.
Ticket to Ride.
Ticket to Ride, I bought that through Amazon, I remember. So that's one game, digital distribution at work, but I think they're going to go the VR route. That's what I'm looking at, is because why make another PC game that's nothing flash? Because that's what Amazon does.
Hi, Okubo. Keep going.
Is, Amazon, they try to do interesting things, maybe raise the bar a little bit. So why just make another PC game that's been done? Instead, you can make something new and interesting. There's just Oculus today, they came out with the Rift. They're like, hey, look at us. We're doing all kinds of cool things. We have, actual AAA publishers who are going to make games for us. And
And it looks like Microsoft is jumping in to provide the gamepad technology.
nice. And they're devoting $10 million to the indie publishers to be like, hey, make games for a VR helmet with $10 million. Now, obviously, Amazon's not indie. But obviously, Oculus is really committed to try to get on launch games on their platform. That's the big fear, obviously, with the Rift or any of the VR helmets, is there's not going to be any actual content.
Right. Do you think they should make computer games or board games? Amazon, I think. Okay, so I made mention of this in the article that was written on Alter Confusion. I think that Amazon's basically like a Google-esque type of company where they're trying to get their hands in every single pot. I personally think that because they're trying to establish a bigger digital footprint with their Prime videos on demand, with of course their digital library, I think that they would be more geared towards a computer game. I wouldn't put it past them to do board games, but I think that they would have more people. Blah, blah, blah. They probably would not put as much focus on that. They would probably maybe back board games, the creation of certain board games, over actually doing it in-house.
Now, so
Maybe publish them.
here's a crazy question.
Yes.
Amazon, they're starting to, well, they have been getting into the world of hardware, such as like with the Fire. Maybe there's any chance that this is actually,
Oh, whoops. Sorry. Should they make computer games of board games?
which
My bad.
they have Carcassonne, they have Ticket to Ride, so they do have a number of.
Well, no, they didn't develop it though.
Well,
They're-
Amazon
they're,
did,
they just
I can see
they're
that.
putting it on the platform. Now that would be cool. Now the problem is, now you're entering into the realm of how do board games translate over to the PC, or whatever digital platform. It really depends on the game. It depends on the complexity of the rules. And also, going to be totally honest with you, the vast majority of the board games that people play today, there's house rules that are applied. Yes, and CrossPad Studios knows a lot about this, as he has done both board games to just board games and board games to the digital
Can you
format.
imagine trying to play Twilight Imperium on the computer?
That would drive me nuts.
No!
Because that's exactly the reason. Twilight Imperium took what, 4.5 hours for us just to read the rule book.
I figured that out.
Just imagine what it'd be like if you have to sit through 4.5 hours of some weird ass tutorial so you could play a game on PC or on just the a handheld.
Well, and there are board games where it's not everything is cut and dry.
Right.
Like Ticket to Ride is very simplistic in the rule set. That's one of the reasons I love it. Carcassonne is pretty straightforward. You put it on the square, either it matches or it doesn't, and you count the number of castles or whatever. So there are some board games where it's very straightforward in the rule set. And then you get the games like Twilight Imperium where they become very nebulous. Arkham Horror, where it's kind of like there's a rule set, but it's more of a guideline.
Right, absolutely. I mean, it would just be like...
you probably have to... Now, I could see a modified rule set like Twilight Imperium. You could probably modify it some, especially because it'd be hard for a game like that, like, for instance, with trading.
Right.
So you can trade random shit. And you can trade anything. You can trade next week's work week if you want to.
Well,
so you'd have to really limit what... You have to define things in a very finite way. And I think it could work out in a way.
So do you think they should add a feature that you can add house rules that change the way the game plays?
Break the game!
Okay, so here's the thing. That would be fantastic, but speaking from a developer mindset, that is crazy.
Well, think about it this way. I could actually see it working like this, though. Okay, I don't know if you need to play Civilization 2. But in Civ 2, you could enable God mode, and there are a whole host of basically house rules that you could change. Victory types, the way the world worked, and all that stuff. So in that regard, I could see maybe there's a whole list of checkboxes or options to create house rules, variations.
The thing is, with these narrative-based board games, the complexity and the amount of time it would take a developer to basically have all of these itty-bitty options to be toggleable, and then also to have a check to make sure that it doesn't invalidate the entire game would be damn near impossible. I'm not saying that it can't be done. It would just be... There are yes, exactly. Many board games require human elements that just can't get into the PC. A lot of the games bank on human interaction. Now, yes, there's a ton of companies out there that have tried to translate those board games that require only real human users, but if it's damn near impossible to get a bunch of people to play, to constantly play a board game or a pencil and paper RPG, think how much harder it's going to be to get them to. First of all, they'll have to buy the game onto their system. You have to have a good connection. You'll have to set it. If it's turn-based, maybe, but then again, it draws it out so long. It's just really, really hard to do.
But at the same time, though, you're going from, if you're speaking of finding people to play with, you're going from your pool of friends to all of a sudden now you have the world to play with. So in theory, you actually have a better chance of finding a game to play with if the game is on the PC or any digital platform.
How does the game? But the thing is, when you do with this digital, where you're grabbing everyone, yes, AI would be absolutely ridiculous because AI would literally have to be like sci-fi fantasy. We will take Skynet.
Skynet.
Yeah. It'd have to be friggin' Skynet because the fact of the matter is,
what was the IBM thing? Who played Jeopardy?
I have no idea. It would have to be Hal. It would be cool, but the problem is there's just so many factors.
So it works for some games. Is what
it does. It does. Like if you want to play Monopoly or something with that has mimic consciousness. Yes, that would. Yes, absolutely. It would require that. But anyways, Amazon's making PC game, or it's going to make a PC game. Now, my one concern is, even if they get a bunch of big names, which apparently they're pulling in, they're starting to get a little bit of traction with some of the names. I'm going to hold my breath. I'm not going to say that it's going to be Studio 38 all over again because Amazon's got a bunch of other stuff going on as well, but I want to see exactly what they're going to do because yes, I think that it's going to go VR route. What VR are they going to use? Is it going to be Viv or
I would think
Fav
I would think
or
most of the big publishers
Rift?
are going to go for the Rift. I think because it's the big name.
What about the Viv? The Viv is basically the steamed back VR device.
Okay, you ask your parents, what do they know? Well, your dad doesn't count. You ask your mom, does she know Steam or Amazon?
She knows Amazon.
Exactly. That's why I think.
Right, but Amazon's not.
Sorry, not.
They don't have.
I meant Amazon or Facebook.
No, you're talking Steam or Facebook.
Yes, sorry. I meant Steam or Facebook.
Right.
And they're going to know
What's the
Facebook.
Viv? Exactly, that's the point.
Exactly. And so that's why they're going to go with the one. I'm actually kind of surprised that the Rift hasn't called it like the Rift, Rift by Facebook or something.
Right.
I'm kind of surprised they haven't added on Facebook to the moniker in some way because that's, people are going to see, oh, Facebook is attached to this now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, gamers know about the Rift because it's been around for, in the gaming for a while now, actually.
Yeah.
But until you get that Facebook name, I mean, that brand name is worth a lot of money. I'm surprised they haven't banked on that yet. Or maybe they will.
I think, well, we're about to go down another path on the Facebook thing that you're going to be like, no, because we've had this argument before. But I think that once Facebook is ready to give you the new Facebook that will enhance your abilities through VR technology, then they'll throw their
enhanced stalking
because they would scare away developers. This is true. That's another reason why Facebook hasn't put their brand on it because when Facebook bought it, there were a couple of developers that immediately jumped off the Rift boat. One being Notch, the guy behind Minecraft, basically said, "Done, not gonna happen." And of course, Eve, not Eve. I
say Eve is one of the big ones.
The developers behind Eve, CCP, Crowd Control Productions, is doing Valkyrie.
For the Rift, yes.
For the Rift, yes. I think, in all honesty, I think for a VR device to succeed, it's going to have to be much, much more than just a gaming device. If it's simply a gaming device, there's no way in hell it's going to last. Because there's not going to be a big enough buyer's base for the $350 device to add to your PC.
But so remember, though, over time, price is going to go down.
Right, but the thing is, will developers stick with that technology long enough for the price to go down for people for the entry to?
I think you're always going to have developers who are interested in, though. Maybe the first round developers will get scared away, but you're always going to have something out there for it.
The problem is AAA developers are not going to wait that long because they want money. So if they can't immediately make money, they may circle back many years later, but without the AAA support, VR is going to have a hard time grasping if it's strictly a gaming device. That's one of the reasons why FOVE, F-O-V-E, is really banking on not only do we do the game with the eye tracking to minimize the motion sickness, but we're also doing it to help special needs children, to help them communicate, to look around if they're handicapped or paralyzed. They're showing a lot of their other capabilities because there's a good chance. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. If you can get your foot in the door in medical, that will help you survive while other pieces are trying to catch up.
Hopefully, we'll see.
Yes.
So I can eventually get my holodeck.
I want my holodeck too. I'm going to have just a room that's got a bunch of treadmill pads on the bottom.
You can put a partition right there perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be epic.
Yeah. Look, I'm wearing my Dot Hack shirt. This is what I want. I want the Dot Hack experience minus the consciousness separating from my body and I go into a coma.
But then it's like the real thing. Then it's real life.
I don't want to go into a coma. I just want to.
You don't want to. You don't want to find the PKKK.
Yeah, I don't want to fight the PKKK, which of course is the player killer.
Yeah, there's lots of killers in Dot Hack.
Yeah,
and they don't even always know it.
Yeah. So you think they should re-release games for this new hardware?
The problem, I don't know how many of these games would work well for the VR helmet because they weren't made
Right.
with VR in mind. So now you want to add to the VR. It would almost be like that. Would almost remind me of the Game Boy 3D, where you had the little toggle switch, where games 3DS, thank you, the 3DS. We're like, oh well, you could turn the toggle switch, have 3D, and you could just turn the toggle switch off and not have 3D. So it became like a gimmick. That's what I would think would happen with some of these games. It become like a gimmick. Oh, you can turn on 3D mode, but you don't really need it.
Well, the thing is, it would have to be an extremely successful game to be reintroduced.
Mass Effect, I could see.
A first-person shooter may have the best chance of being re-released in a 3D VR
Well, I'm also thinking, because you know that BioWare/EA has the financial resources to do it also.
Right. But once again, we then come to the crossroad of what VR device are you making it for? And unfortunately, from as far as I understand, there is no set standard. So that's the thing that scares me the most, is that there is no standard.
But it kind of works in the console market. I mean, for years you had Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony. All different archetypes.
But the three giants are not... Are okay, fine. You
Sony.
Have the Morpheus for the Sony.
Yep.
That's the only one that's being backed by a big name. Well, yes, Facebook's Rift, but that's not gaming. I mean,
but you're saying arguments worked for the consoles for years. Why can't it work for the VR helmets?
The technology that happens with the console manufacturers are by the console manufacturers. The biggest difference is third-party versus first-party hardware. When you add something on, Ubisoft is the best example of this. They did this draw pad thing that they then try to get a lot of people to jump on board and make games for it because they thought it was a cool accessory for the Wii. No one did it because it's not standard Wii. Mm-hmm. It is their own thing that they then you could use on the Wii. And yes, VR helmets will continue to do Kickstarters. People will keep throwing money at it, and then we'll just, we're gonna get to the point of HD DVD versus Blu-ray, VHS versus Betamax, and you know what's gonna come down to, which is always the end all, is which one is porn gonna back, and then that's it. Interactive porn. If they back the Rift, that's the standard.
Or if they had a standard SDK kit across all of the platforms somehow.
Right.
That would be, so different hardware architecture possible. Mm-hmm. Kind of the equivalent, I guess. I mean, I don't know much about VR, but can you do the same thing like PC? Yeah, you got different PC architectures, but then you still have Microsoft Windows on them.
Well, it's all Intel.
Exactly. Same thing with the Rift. Different resolutions and crap at the end. It's still one single point somewhere. Right
now, it's still experimental technology. Everyone's trying to outdo the other, and so that's where the issue is.
And there's definitely going to be growing pains for the next couple of years as you kind of figure this out. Okay, how is this going to become profitable? Yeah. And some companies like Facebook will be able to, and Sony, they can take a huge loss. I don't know if
Sony could take a huge loss. They
haven't taken
pretty
losses.
gun shy. I mean, they've done. I mean, don't get me wrong. They make some huge losses, but they seem to be getting game shy. They've already made a shared SDK difficult by releasing hardware-software combos. Yes, yeah, that's true. That's very true. We'll see. I'm very interested. No one is sharing in development. Absolutely, because it's trade secrets. They want to be the top dog. So why would you share your little, tweaks and shortcuts and all that stuff right now? Because if you do that, the bigger names like the Rift or the Morpheus will eat the little guy alive.
And you think it's not just the gaming, but the extra crap that's going to make it pop.
Absolutely. I think
I just don't
because the thing is
I just don't see it being used in my home for anything beyond gaming.
Right, but the problem is this is why Xbox won. This is why Microsoft and Sony went the path they went, where they went to a multimedia device. It gets it into more houses, and then more people get used to using that technology. If you do it just for games, it's a very small section of the consumer marketplace.
I don't know. I don't know if they're necessarily doing it just for that. It was also an arms race in terms of who can add more stuff onto their consoles. So from a gaming standpoint, if one console has this but the other doesn't have that, well, you know which one you're going to buy if you're a gamer.
Well, right, but that also puts more of those into houses that are non-gaming houses. Because now you got your Netflix device, you got your Hulu device.
I'm just not
now
convinced
now Microsoft has their cable tuner, so you give her your cable box. What they're trying to do, look,
I'd like to see how many people actually buy consoles based on their multimedia aspects and not because they're gaming devices.
A lot more. It's like triple. It's some crazy ass number. There's a shit ton more people that are buying the Xbox One, or at least the Xbox One for the other capabilities than gaming now. That has flopped or flipped, not flopped, because the Xbox One is doing fine. Someone will have to win the war before a universal SDK is available. Absolutely, absolutely. But we're too early, and I think, for better or for worse, we're too early in this battle, this war, for us to see a victor in this. And so that's why they have to go into other markets. That's going to allow them to have a bigger grasp on the overall digital or whatever marketplace to then say this is the SDK that is being standardized across all these different.
But one of the worries too is if it's going to make it like early Palm Pilots, where they tried doing everything, so everything was shitty instead of doing any one thing really well.
Crossbad. I know someone that just bought a new used console to replace their working console just because their Netflix stopped working on it. Multimedia is becoming a huge aspect for consumers.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you, Crossbad.
Yes, we got one data point.
But
I'm smart ass, sorry.
I know, but to be fair, Crosspad is a bulldog, so
go Dogs.
So
but that's what I worry with the whole idea of let's do multimedia and stuff and this and that is nothing's going to be done very well. Are the resources?
Are you saying that things are being done well now?
But if
they're not.
But if they concentrate just on doing one thing really well on the VR helmet, then that one thing will actually stand out, and instead of just a bunch of little things that don't stand out.
Right, but you have to find a foothold first. We're talking about unproven technology.
Exactly, find a foothold with one thing that actually works well instead of 8 things that don't work too well.
Yeah. Yeah, the PSP Go was supposed to be just a gaming device, was established brand name.
Really? You're going to use Sony on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Sony did it terribly. We know that. It doesn't mean.
But
they didn't do it well. That's the whole point.
Right. They didn't do it well. They thought, everything. The thing is,
if you do it well,
look,
like you're missing my adverb here. Well, greatly, awesomely.
Right. But in order to do it well, Sony. They have to. The unfortunate thing is, they have to cover a lot of bases now. You can't just cover one base.
We don't know that because the VR isn't a known technology, so we don't know that they have to cover all the bases to be successful.
Let's look. Okay, let's table this for now. In 4 years, we'll come back and we'll see which device did well. The VR helmet that was strictly for gaming, that spent all of its effort towards gaming, or the one that was okay in a lot of different places.
All right.
Boom.
I'll bet you a Leffe.
Sure. Someone actually recording this, so it is going to be a record.
So I got to go back and analyze. Okay, who's making just a VR for one thing versus doing everything?
And that's what big electric companies now are all covering multiple fields. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Apple. Google owns a gas line. Okay, tomorrow you could see Google Gas next to the Shell and the BP.
Hell yeah, I'm going to get my Google Gas. I'm fine with that. Once I get my damn Google Fiber.
Yeah.
That actually comes, I'll be a happy man.
I bet you will.
I don't know if it's coming where I live. I should look into that.
Yes.
I know it was coming to my old apartment. I'll worry about it later.
No, it's not. Did Twitch kick us off? Damn it. Hold on one sec.
What the hell?
I think Twitch just kicked us off.
What the fuck? Oh, here. Type a
Are we
message.
back? Are we back? Are we back?
Type a message.
No. We still drop. Oh wait, hold on. Sorry.
Ah!
We should be back now. Hold on. Let's see if we're back. Yeah. Okay, there we go. We're good. Woo! It's back.
Hello.
Yes, Facebook heard we were talking smack. This is true. This is so true. Anyways, shit, I'm completely.
Doesn't Amazon actually own Twitch now?
Do they?
Or is it YouTube? I know a big company bought Twitch.
Google owns YouTube.
Who owns Twitch though? Somebody big owns Twitch. I forget
Amazon?
who. I want to say it's Amazon for some reason.
Well, let's see. Let's Google this here. Let's see. Who owns Twitch? I can't see that.
Amazon bought Twitch. See, Akubio
Amazon.
got me. Yeah.
Bam.
Yeah.
We weren't smack talking Amazon.
No, I like me some Amazon.
So, anyways, yes,
Indeed.
indeed. Okay, we are almost at the end of our time, but I swear if I have to watch one more freaking Heroes of Storm ad, it's almost as bad as Game of War. The only benefit to Games of War was that you got to see a lady who was well endowed with her endowment bouncing as she rode down the enemies. But if you actually played the game, oh dear Christ, how many times can they try to nab you for buy in-game currency to help you out? Ad block? Yes. I don't know.
Oh, Game of. Okay, I was thinking. I don't know anything. Yes, Game of War is terrible. Yeah. And it's another one of those damn microtransaction games, which can be done well, but Game of War is another one that does it very obnoxiously.
Yes.
Adblock Plus.
We are going to we could talk about
Microtransactions as we do most
microtransactions,
weeks.
but we're not.
Yeah.
Okay, this is sad news for those indie developers out there who are trying to showcase their games. That was a reference to the ad you must watch before streaming. Right, exactly, right. For those individuals out there, indie developers out there who decided that they don't want to go Steam route, or perhaps they want to go Steam and the Desura route, it's unfortunate, but Desura's parent company has filed for bankruptcy. I believe the name of the company is Bad Juju. If you are an independent developer, remove your game quickly.
If you have a key, go redeem it on Steam or somewhere else.
Redeem your key on Steam. They apparently have been... Bad Juju is backlogged on actually paying the developers their money for the games that have been sold on Desura.
Minor details.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
I've never heard of the service before. Now
I'm going to be honest. I've heard of it a couple times, but I haven't paid much attention to it simply because I use Steam, and a lot of the Desura stuff, you get a Steam key that you then go over to Steam. So it's kind of like,
I like having my one platform to rule them all.
Your GOG Galaxy.
I gotta punch you. It's good old games, man. Always in my heart.
Yes.
Indeed.
Okay, real quick. We're going to have to wrap up in a second, but I do want to mention a couple of things real quick. First of all, Sproggiwood by Freehold Games. You have to check it out. It is on Steam, it's on iOS, and it's on Android. And it's awesome on all of them. So,
it's a very fun, it's a fun turn-based RPG. It's like Diablo only turn-based.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's the best way to look at it.
It's a solid game.
It's fun times. I recommend it.
Now, of course, okay, I know that there's some individuals out there who do have children. I know. It's crazy. Gamers who have Sproggiwood. Sproggi wood.
Oh, you're typing.
Got it.
I was like, I can type too, but your mouse is not in the right place.
Boom. There is a game for children. It's called it's by Eggroll Games. It is called, I think it's called like Kids Matching Colors and Shapes. It is a solid freaking game.
Can cats play it?
Huh?
Can cats play it? I have a child.
I don't know.
She's a cat.
Maybe. I don't know.
I'll check this out.
Do the paws actually register on your device?
You know, I've not actually tried that.
Well, maybe
I'm going to test this out tonight when I get home and see.
Well,
I'm going to teach my cat how to, like, count shapes. It's going to be awesome. She's going to become the world's smartest cat. Or she'll just get my phone furry.
That's true. That too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we have basically reached the end of our show, so we want to thank all of you who tuned in and contributed to the chat window. For those of you who are watching the recording of this, please, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns or criticisms for us, or for those of you who are watching us live, you can hit us up on Facebook, Altered Confusion. You can hit us up on Twitter, Altered Confusio. That's Altered Confusion without the N.
It's like a spell.
Because the N would make it too awesome, okay? Or, of course, you could just go to alteredconfusion.com and hit the Contact Us link, and then you can fill out all the information. All the stuff comes to me. If you are an independent developer and you're looking to get your game a little bit of love, a little bit of attention, hit us up through any of those, and, of course, everything goes to me. I am the main reviewer for all the games, so if you have anything, send it our way, and we'll try to give you the attention and love that you deserve. Bye, Okibo. Thank you for tuning in for this week's Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure to give you the crazy stuff that's coming out of our minds, as well as some of the stories that has happened over this past week, and, of course, our opinions on that. So until next time, be cool.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother. And also, check out Crosspad Studios board games. You need to check out their cool games. He has a crazy mind for the board games. I don't understand it, but it's awesome. So until next time, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.